This is African American History is American History. By the time Dwight David Eisenhower became president in 1953, he had little personal experience with black people. Having grown up in rural Kansas, he had no black neighbors, friends, or teachers. He spent his career in the segregated U.S. Army, and his favorite place to unwind was Augusta National Golf Club, a bastion of white male privilege in the heart of the Old South. During the 1952 election campaign, Eisenhower avoided any questions regarding race. When they did come up, he would simply say, quote, "I do not believe we can cure all the evils in men's hearts by law." End quote. That's politi-speak, for the federal government should not interfere with local customs. Upon entering office, Eisenhower was uncomfortable addressing racial issues, but soon realized he could not avoid them as president for very long. In 1953, Eisenhower did champion the desegregation of the nation's capital, and he did follow through on President Harry Truman's efforts to desegregate the armed forces. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka. The court found racial segregation in public schools to be unconstitutional. Following that ruling, Eisenhower never spoke about it one way or the other. Although a president usually avoids commenting on court decisions, in this case, Eisenhower's silence may have encouraged resistance to school desegregation. In many parts of the South, white citizens organized councils to prevent compliance with the court's ruling. While some of these groups relied on political action, others used intimidation and violence. Eisenhower now knew, uncomfortable or not, he had a constitutional responsibility to uphold the Supreme Court's rulings, and he did. This is African American History is American History. The Civil Rights Act of 1957 marked a pivotal moment in American history, as it was the first piece of civil rights legislation enacted since the Reconstruction era. It was signed into law by President Dwight D. Eisenhower on September 9, 1957. The act aimed to provide federal protection for the voting rights of African Americans who had faced widespread disenfranchisement due to oppressive state and local regulations in the South. Eisenhower personally never wished to become a crusader on behalf of civil rights. The issue of race made him uncomfortable, and he often expressed his personal opinion privately that black activists wanted too much change too quickly. Only once during his presidency, June of 1958 to be exact, did Eisenhower meet with African American leaders. The president heard appeals for more aggressive federal action to advance civil rights. He even took advice from a young Martin Luther King Jr., who urged him to use the bully pulpit to build popular support for racial integration. Dwight David Eisenhower wasn't a civil rights champion by any stretch of the imagination. He grew up in a world far removed from Black America and carried the uneasiness and preconceptions of that distance into the Oval Office. But whether it was the 1954 landmark Brown v. Board of Education case, or the volatile events in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1957, or signing the Civil Rights Acts of 1957 and 1960, President Eisenhower did his duty, which was to defend the rights of all Americans. Leadership isn't about being comfortable. It's about doing the right thing despite the discomfort. This has been African American History is American History. I'm Harlan Kearsley. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Once you do, you'll be notified as soon as new episodes are posted. Thanks again, and please stay safe. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2025.